Kia say that they are going to do something very different to what they normally do. Now, Kia and Hyundai, they produce really, really good electric cars, but they don't make very many of them. In fact, their EV sales have gone down this year versus last year, if we're talking global worldwide sales. But Kia say that's going to change now. With the new Kia EV3, they plan on making these in America and in China, and they want to sell 70,000 minimum in America alone, in the United States alone. That's not even all the other cars they're going to sell in Australia, in Europe, in the UK, in Canada. Just in the US, 70,000. Is the Kia EV3 legitimately, I mean, can Kia, will they even have enough demand to sell this many? Well, here's why I think they could sell a lot more than that. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. I thought, guys, I just thought I'd check and see if anyone was interested in hearing from Shanna on how she's going with her cancer. And yesterday she actually had her, I don't know what it was, maybe like 15th round of chemotherapy. But yeah, I thought if you guys are interested, I can get her to do a video. So let me know in the comments or send us an email. And if there's enough people, then we'll do that. Kia, they want to blitz the market with a minimum of 70,000 of these. They're saying actually 70 to 80,000 EV3 sales a year from 2024. From 2025. So what do we know about this car so far? Will there be enough demand? One of the first things, guys, that strikes me about this vehicle, we know that the cheaper version will have lithium iron phosphate batteries, be manufactured in China, but the American version, it'll be very, very affordable as well. Now, here's the key, affordability. But when you look at the design, you've got to admit the design, it looks good. I don't think anyone's going to see this car and say, I'm not going to buy that because it looks bad. It does look good. And if it looks good and the price is right and the range is right, those three things and the charging speeds, then you've got a winner. And guys, I'm pretty confident that it's going to win on all four of those categories. For one, look at the size, look at the shape of this car. It looks so practical. It's a small car, but that bonnet, very, very small bonnet. And so therefore the size is going to be maximized, the interior space. The size of this vehicle, it's actually 169.3 inches long, 4.3 meters. So it's actually smaller. It's actually kind of a similar size to a Chevy Bolt EUV, but it looks way better. It's much more high tech, and it's going to have 373 miles of range. That's 600 kilometers. That's on the long-range version. That long-range version, of course, will be more expensive than the cheapest versions. That'll have an 81.4 kilowatt-hour battery. Now, guys, there is one thing I do not like about this vehicle. And Kia have given an explanation because journalists have said, Kia, why did you do this? We don't think that's a good idea. Other car manufacturers are not doing that. And Kia have responded to those criticisms. Very strange response. I didn't really understand it, but I'll share with you what their response was at the end of the video if you want to know about that. So what else do we know about the EV3? Well, like I said, this is a global car for Kia. It has a drag coefficient of 0.267, not particularly great drag-wise, but it's not bad. Size, it's at 4.3 meters long, 169.3 inches. It's 1,850 millimeters wide, 72.8 inches, and it's 1,560 millimeters tall. It's 61.4 inches. The wheelbase is 105.5 inches. The EV3 is 4 inches longer than the e-Soul, says Kia, and it's 4.7 inches shorter than the e-Niro. So that's why this vehicle, people are saying, will this replace the Kia Niro? Well, no, it won't, because the Niro is nearly 5 inches longer. So the Niro is significantly bigger. And you can kind of get a picture now of the size of this car. It's about the size, it's like a slightly bigger version of a Toyota Corolla, but SUV-ish and more boxy. So it'll have more interior space, of course. Now, speaking of the interior, it has a 12.3-inch instrument cluster and a 12.3-inch infotainment display, plus a separate 5-inch touchscreen for climate controls positioned between them. So it's essentially going to have 3 LCD screens in the front of the car. Now, the global version, how big will it be? Well, one thing that is very surprising, guys, is the boot space. The boot space for a car this size, it has the biggest boot space for a car this size from any car that I've ever seen, ever. Guys, I love boot space. I always pay attention to boot space. I can tell you the boot space of most cars. It's one of these weird things. I have a weird brain for remembering boot space. There is no car that I know of in this segment that's ever been made that is 4.3 meters long and has 460 liters of boot space. That is 16.2 cubic feet, meaning the boot space in this vehicle is nearly as big as the boot space in a BMW X5, which is a massively bigger vehicle. So really smart packaging here from Kia. That does kind of confirm what they're saying about the criticisms though, and I'll get back to that in a second. Now, it has 5 passengers in the cabin. It can take 5 passengers. And it has a 25-litre frunk. So 25 as in very, very small frunk. I don't really know if there's much point to 25 litres. But anyhow, it uses the eGMP platform, but it doesn't have an 800-volt architecture. So it's probably not going to have 350 kilowatt fast charging. It has a 400-volt architecture. The standard model is a 58.3 kilowatt-hour battery. That's going to obviously give you, I would guess, around about 240 miles of range with that standard size battery. The bigger battery, the much bigger battery, long range, 81.4 kilowatt hours, that's going to give you 600 kilometers or 373 miles of range, but possibly even more than that, guys. It could actually give you more than 373 miles of range. Charging, apparently they can charge from 10 to 80% in 31 minutes. At charging speeds of 128 kilowatts. So I think the max charging speed, guys, of this vehicle is around 150 kilowatt. How much power? Well, single electric motor. It's a front motor, by the way, not a rear motor. Front motor in the cheapest version, 201 horsepower. That's 150 kilowatt. And that also has 283 newton meters of torque. Now, for a vehicle this size, I think that's plenty of power. It enables it to do 0 to 60 miles an hour, 0 to 62 miles an hour, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 7.5 seconds. And there will be a GT version, as in an all-wheel drive version. But as of yet, it will be a front-wheel drive vehicle at launch. That's the criticisms here, guys, that journalists have been talking about. They've been saying, why have you made this front-wheel drive? It doesn't make sense. I mean, EV manufacturers are moving away from front-wheel drive. There's reasons for this. Hyundai even said, Hyundai themselves, who are the sister company to Kia, they said rear-wheel drive is better in an electric car. There's quite a few advantages. So I'm surprised to see Kia do this. Kia have responded to journalists saying, why have you done this? Why have you made this front-wheel drive? And so far, all Kia vehicles built on the eGMP platform have been either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So here was Kia's response. This will be the front-wheel drive models which are targeted for affordable EVs that customers are looking for. In other words, they believe in this segment, people are just used to front-wheel drive, so they don't want to change what people are used to. I don't think that's true necessarily, but anyway. EV3 is targeting the mainstream EV buyers, said Kia. So that's why we have chosen eGMP with front-wheel drive, which is much lighter. Now, I'm not sure how it would be lighter. I'm not convinced that that's actually true, but that's what they said. The packaging is much lighter, said Kia. Also, the performance standpoint is right for the customers in the compact SUV category. Cost is another reason, and Kia could probably save on wiring and having to run less wiring in the car. Now, guys, there's been, I think, 4 different car manufacturers who have come out within the last 2 years, including Volvo. Volvo no longer do front-wheel drive at all with EVs, but 4 different car manufacturers, Volkswagen, Hyundai, Volvo, and there's one other who all said rear-wheel drive is better in electric cars, and they've explained certain reasons. I actually went through those reasons in a separate video. So this is a bit of a strange decision here, surprising decision from Kia. But that said, I don't see it being a deal breaker personally. What do you guys think? Front-wheel drive, is that a deal breaker for you? Now, what about price? Well, price apparently in the US is going to start at $30,000 US. Sounds like a good price, right? Apparently, the longer range model could be about $35,000. $35,000 for an EV with 375 miles of range would be a huge winner. I think it would be a massive success. Now, there's one other really cool feature this has, which is V2L, or vehicle to load. And that is technology that can allow you to charge various devices. And apparently, in addition to that, there is also a new ChatGPT-based artificial intelligence assistant set to roll out to Kia cars, and it could come to these vehicles, these cheaper Kias as well. There's still a lot we don't know about the Kia EV3. I mean, pricing, what's pricing going to be in Europe, in America, in Australia? We don't know exactly. These are just estimates, but this will definitely be the cheapest Kia, well, until the EV2 arrives. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Bye-bye.